When last you guys were here on Rime of the Frostmaiden, you had traveled across the Icewind Dale. You had started your journey in the city of East Haven, where you had learned about the ongoings of the region. Locked in snow and ice in an everlasting winter that the locals are blaming on the wrath of the goddess of winter's fury, Ariel. While in East Haven, you learned several things. You had heard rumors about a monster roaming the lakes off of the coast of Bremen, and you had learned about fishermen were going missing the coast of the Lac off of East Haven. You also were hired by a former retired adventurer named Hilla Trollbane to hunt down a killer that was murdering people with daggers full of ice. Additionally, you learned about missing beer that had not been making its way to the local taverns after several giant-like creatures had attacked and stolen it. You traveled to Good Mead, rescued that, and then made your way to Dugan's Hole, where you found the town beset by winter wolves and the awakened mammoth, former pet of a frost giant that was capturing local residents and holding them prisoner, demanding tribute of food. Managing to rescue the two inbred children, you then made your way up to the local burg of Bryn Shander, looking for the said killer, since you knew they were headed in that direction, where you encountered several dwarves whose caravan of iron ingots, traveling to the local blacksmith, had been abandoned after they were attacked by a yeti in the wilderness. You found that only to be taken by a group of goblin bandits that were dragging it away. After defeating the goblin bandits and rescuing the iron ingots, you brought them back to Black Iron Blades, but not after dealing with the yeti that originally killed Upak, one of the dwarves. You then headed offwards as you found the original caravan of Torgas that had the supposed murderer, or the suspect in it, had made their way off towards Targos. And that's where we find you. You entered Targos, where there was you encountered the speaker of town and heard some rumors going about as they had conducted some seemingly nefarious business. And you heard about a name that you had known before by the name of Shindar Froth, who you had learned was a candidate for Speaker of Good Mead, who you found out had been murdered after his name apparently came up in the lottery in Targos, which may not make much sense to you, but that it is. And then as you were leaving Targos, you were led to a house by a dog that came running up, seemingly barking for help, only to find a gentleman whose husband had gone missing, or apparently gone missing. His dog, who never would have left his side, had returned after he had agreed to be a wilderness guide for a band of adventurers that were traveling to the top of Caer Carnig. To the top of Kelvin's Cairn from Caer Carnig. He was getting them outfitted in the town of Caer Carnig, and then they were traveling up the mountain. For reasons that were not disclosed, at least the gentleman that you encountered did not, or at least claimed to not know said reasons. And that, folks, is where we actually find ourselves now in Rime of the Frostmaiden. You are still in the home of Keegan Valerian. And if I recall last, he had basically begged you to search for his missing husband, and he could not bear to part with the beloved dog, the only thing that he had left of his missing partner. What's everybody doing as we find ourselves here?
Well, I guess I'm gonna get up and gather up my stuff because we have paying jobs. So he
says,
help us help you.
He says, I have not much money, but perhaps I could arrange for, as I said, I know the owner of the local inn. I could arrange for free room and board for you, maybe, or I could give you some of my paintings. They may not be worth much, but they're the best I could do. We're not wealthy people.
Well, we're willing to do the job, but if you're hindering us by not giving us the tools we need to find him, then we can do other jobs.
What tools need you?
The dog.
He sort of looks sullenly down and says, What? But he's all that I have left.
If he's all that you have left, you're already discounting that he's gone. This may be the only way we find him.
Okay. He starts to sort of cry a little bit. Roll persuasion.
Could I argue for advantage? Because I feel like she did a very good.
I'll let one of you roll persuasion with advantage, and the other one has helped the other one. Whoever wants to roll it.
Do you have a plus on yours?
I have a +4.
All right, then I will let you roll that.
Okay.
All right. Toot, the persuasive King Coon. You have
Did it roll
advantage.
twice or once?
I only see a 9.
Yeah, it's only once.
Okay.
Oh,
I clicked
yeah.
it twice.
The other one's Leonard. Yeah.
Oh God.
No, no.
Ah,
With a 9. He looks up at all of you and he just says, I can't. Maybe I can find the money. Sorry, my internet connection went unstable. He says, I can't. Maybe, how would he be useful to you and to find him?
He was
Do you
useful
know
enough to
anything?
bring us to you.
he knows where he left him. That's a
He
start.
He has a better nose than any of us, and he knows what he's looking for too.
You promise me you will go straight there?
Yes,
What other jobs have you?
jobs we can put on hold.
Yeah, if Leonard gets a puppy, this is his priority. Gets to hang with a puppy even.
Let's see here. I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll against the 9, and because I think then yet advantage we have had basically three. We basically had 3 failed rolls here,
Yeah.
and the dice. If you don't make this hard move, you don't. Then why roll dice, right?
No,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fair.
So I'm going to roll his wisdom, which is a +0 on a d20. If he rolls less than a 9, he gives you the dog. If else, he just says, I can't. He rolls a 12, and he looks over at all of you and he says, I just can't. I'm sorry. I'll give you whatever you can find, but if I can't. And he says, "You're welcome to stay here, though, if you wish."
What time of day is it?
It would be relatively early. You'd stayed the night, and you had left the hotel, or not the hotel, the inn. So it's not super late in the day. You'd had maybe breakfast and stuff, so mid-morning. And boy has like curled himself up into like a position in the chair.
Would you be willing to come with us for just a short amount of time, along with the dog, to perhaps point us in the right direction, and then the two of you can return home?
Says, I am not a wilderness type.
I'm not asking you to go out into unsafe territory. I'm simply asking if you could come with us outside the door, perhaps walk a mile or two and get us pointed in the right direction. It would greatly increase the likelihood that we're able to bring your husband back to you.
Says, I don't know how that would help, but I would be willing, I suppose. Yes, I'll do that. So Keegan says, I will walk with you to the edge of town.
Perhaps the dog could point us in.
He says, certainly. I'm not sure how helpful it will be, but I'll take you there.
I'm sure he doesn't have like a negative wisdom. Sure sounds like it.
I'm pretty sure that dice rolling matters. So
pretty sure there's a negative number in this one.
It's not that he doesn't. Okay, let me put it this way. Okay, it's not that he doesn't recognize realistically that it is probably a better way to like get somebody back to give you the dog. It's just that he can't bear to let the dog go. Does that make sense?
It's a trauma bond.
It's not a logical thing. It's like he just like if he can't let the dog go.
Right.
And you've got to roll better. If you want a pet, roll better than a 9.
We weren't planning on keeping it. Well, I wasn't.
All right. He takes you out to the street.
Kenny probably was.
Oh yeah, that dog was there.
He takes you out to the streets of Targos, and you're able to walk for some distance. I'll take you to the map here of Targos. And you stayed at the Luskan Arms, so I'll bring that up into view. Luskan Arms is here. And the dog starts heading out sort of down the trail, and as you're sort of leading him, he heads towards, bring up the map of the Icewind Dale. Towards Bryn Shander. Would be sort of the way he came.
Okay. To Bryn Shander it is then.
Yeah, now that we're adventuring on our own, I'm going to remind them that the dude we're rescuing has rich parents.
Yes, the dude that you've been hired to rescue does indeed have rich parents. Okay.
So we weren't technically offered money. So if we asked for money, technically it'd be a ransom. Just...
Because that's how words work.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, if you're ransoming him.
I mean,
just out of curiosity, what is your alignment? I'm
apparently
curious.
not a very good one. I'm just,
that's fantastic.
stating facts.
Okay, so are you guys? You just came from Bryn Shander, and I'll remind you, you told the speaker of town that you were heading towards Bremen to deal with the fishing problem. Are you heading towards Bryn Shander now? Back to Bryn Shander? He told you, I'll bring up the map here, the regional map. So you were told that this gentleman's husband, had led a party to the city of Konig. You're here in Targos. Actually, I guess if you're just taking him backwards, he heads sort of out towards, not Bryn Shander, but towards Termalaine, sort of in this direction. He had taken a party out of the city of Konig, which is over here on Lechdinsmere, and they were heading up to Kelvin's Cairn somewhere up the mountain. And the dog sort of heads in the general direction of, like, this way. The dog sort of didn't follow roads to get back. It sort of just kind of
trekked across the tundra.
Trekked across tundra or what have you.
So here's what I'm wondering.
So the dog sort of heads off towards Termalaine.
We know that if everything worked out well, he was at Konig over here.
Yes.
Headed to Kelvin's Cairn.
Yes.
But that the dog came back with the harness broken but still on it.
Correct.
So wherever he was had to have been in a sled compatible area.
Well, the harness is not necessarily wouldn't necessarily have been attached to just a sled. Would have been.
But like, there's got to be a point at which a dog can't climb a mountain, right?
Maybe he would have. This would have been like a pet dog that he would have kept with him like all the time.
Oh.
Beyond just like sled dogs, but they would have probably taken the dogs a good ways.
Well, never mind then. I thought that might narrow it down, but
I would just suggest that I'm not sure that is a logical. And I suppose you can get this off of him. You know, he basically says, "Well, Garrett would have kept the dog with him. Would have kept Boy with him all the time, as far as he could possibly go, all the way up to base camp or higher. They intended to climb the cairn."
I don't necessarily want to search him per se, but could I, just as we're walking, kind of continue to glance down at the dog?
Just tell him what a good boy he is.
Yeah.
What do you?
I just want to know, do I see blood on him at all?
Oh, that's a very good question. Roll perception.
Like, I'm not necessarily making a point to, like, it's not obvious that I'm looking. I'm just kind of,
yeah,
as I'm walking.
The dog has suffered some injury. Like, you're not sure if it was attacked by something on the way back, but yeah, there's like a little bit of dried blood on the dog, and it seems that the dog has maybe suffered some injury at some point.
Okay.
So yeah, the path sort of from the dog, like, leading you, begins to sort of leave the trail and head off into the tundra. And like at this point, Garrett just stops and says, I don't feel good going further. This is starting to get to the territory of the wild. He seems to be coming. You can see in the distance the cairn, the large volcanic mountain. Which rises out of the tundra as sort of a solitary peak that is a little bit unusual looking almost. And he's gonna bid you well and start to turn back. What are you guys doing? It's led you to sort of here. I'll move the little D&D logo. You're led out of the city of Targos. Hang on, sorry. I'm just gonna tokens. Out of the city of Targos and sort of like into the wild. Heading up that way. You can see sort of leaving the trail and heading into tundra territory. And this is where Keegan Valerian doesn't really want to proceed much further. But he bids you great thanks and says, I'll try to find some better reward than what I have to offer. Perhaps Garrett's family will be able to assist. Communication is hard to get through, but I can send maybe word to Waterdeep, and just know that any efforts you make are greatly appreciated by me. So what's the plan, guys? Yeah, dog cut across tundra, it looks like.
So he's returned to the village?
He's just sort of stopped here and says he doesn't want to go any further. The dog is leading you off the road and sort of into tundra territory, heading towards the mountain. The dog seems to be pointing like straight towards the mountain. You basically from everywhere in the 10 towns, unless you are way out of range, you can see this one mountain in the distance.
Okay. I have a thought once he's out of earshot.
Yeah, he'll start to turn and walk back towards the town. Boy actually sort of pulls and like wants to like go on, but Keegan sort of is pulling him back towards Targos. So he would be just out of earshot by now.
Okay, so I'm sort of in the front, and then I turn around and I say, okay, I am not a terrible dwarf, but I want to just put out there that we have a lot of obligations, and this is one individual, and some of our quests are very important for large numbers of people, and I don't want to make this a numbers game. And I didn't want to say anything while I was polishing my javelin on this nice man's couch, and I'm sure his husband's a very good, sweet and good man, but he is one man.
So it's kind of like sitting down.
And
it's kind of like sitting down and going, you have a trolley and two
just,
sets of tracks.
I'm just again, I'm not a terrible dwarf. Don't get me wrong. And this is the reason I didn't want to be a mean, horrible person in that sweet man's house. But I'm just putting it out there. Maybe as far as he's concerned, we never find his husband, or
or we find him later and he gets a great burial.
We don't really know where he's at anyway, so we could run into him while we're dealing with some of this other stuff.
I'm gonna make
opposite direction.
I'm gonna make a point. You don't even know that he's alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could also run into dying as what we could run into. So
he's just one man.
As a wise man once said, the good of the many outweighs the good of the few.
So I'm not saying we should turn around now that man's gone and go completely different.
Let's wait till we can't see him at least. That he didn't see us like walking behind him. He's like, oh hey.
Okay,
I'm not saying we don't do that either.
Your DM will desperately need to know where the hell you're going.
Okay, so what does the rest of the party think?
So Leonard, if we had the puppy, Leonard would not be able to convince not to go. Since we don't, Leonard rolled a 41 on his motivation. He is with Cadillac.
I do not have the tools I need to find this man, so we'd just be walking into tundras.
Well,
I don't feel like as bad of a person. No.
There was a lot of blood on that dog too.
But whose?
I'd like to point out you do know where he started from and you do know where he was going.
Trying to guilt trip us?
No. What I'm just
Voice in
saying
the
is,
sky.
what I'm saying is,
Mom,
Carrot
is that you?
no, you guys are totally open. So where's the party going? Keegan seems to have left your side.
I'm just gonna pull the hood up on my fancy new coat that I had made for me and start walking back toward Targos.
See, we're gonna just don't walk too close to the entrance because dog might smell us and
No,
run
I don't
back
even
out.
care. I don't even care. I am not the man who really gives a crap.
All right. Well,
All right,
Sounds
so we're headed
unanimous.
to Bremen.
yeah.
Okay. So are you going back through Targos, or are you kind of like
Going
skirting
around.
Let's
skirting
scoot
around?
around.
Okay.
That would be awkward.
like,
I know, right? Just see him in the grocery store. Hey.
like,
Hey, look, wasn't there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we're
we're back already. You don't want to know.
we were going to
Yeah.
make this very assertive decision in the most cowardly way possible.
To
I love that.
shreds, you say.
I love that. We're not going to go look. We're not going to go look for your husband. We're not going to tell you that. We're just going to go hide and pretend we're
We're,
doing it.
we're just going to take another route.
No, we're
Yes, we're going
to
a long
look
way
for him.
around.
We're
getting
going
there
to
from
look
behind.
for him later when we get into that vicinity, should we make it there.
Gotcha.
Right. When the
Okay.
main quest takes us over there.
Yes, right. Should we make it to that area, we'll be happy to look around.
If
not
only
sure-
we had a dog.
I'm not sure that there's. I'm not sure there's a main quest in this campaign.
Main quest for the moment. The paying quest.
All right. So you guys are heading. Yes, there is a paying quest for 200 gold pieces to murder someone. And
200
you-
gold pieces. Heck yeah.
I ain't mad about it.
Mm-mm.
All right. So the band of murderers is heading towards Bremen.
Yep.
All right.
Let's go to Bremen.
Okay. I don't know if I have Bremen traveling music, but it takes you a few hours to make it to Bremen. You don't have any major bad encounters along the way. It's relatively unremarkable. You reach Bremen by about 2 o'clock in the afternoon or so, maybe getting closer to 3. And I'll take you there now as you're entering the streets of Bremen. Assuming I can find it. It's the problem with too many maps that you make.
No such thing as too many maps.
Yes, there's some truth to that.
The blue part is land.
You make your way into the city of Bremen, which from an aerial view looks like this. And I'll give you the closer up look. Here. And let me bring your tokens onto said screen. We don't have Yatara, but we'll have him around. Leonard, Arcus, Ordella, Toot, and Cadillac. You'll make your way down the road into the city of Bremen. You find a small snow-covered city with on the edge of the water, and there's some docks there. There are a few what looks like a city center with places of drinking and merrymaking, and there are local docks, and there is a inn on the edge here. Where are you guys going? As you arrive in the city of Bremen. Town center sort of over here. Let's see if we've got Streets of Bremen sounds.
So the town center, like, I would expect maybe a traveling band of merchants to set up in the town center.
You'd think that, but you don't really see a lot of merchants right there. As you sort of enter the town center, what would be sort of a center of the town, You actually see there are 5 bars, 5 taverns. They're not inns, they are just taverns, and they all surround each other, and they all look somewhat ramshackle. One of them is named Stones. One of them is named River's Mouth. The other one is named the Grumpy Moose. And then one is named the Black-Bearded Brother. And then another one is named the Even Keel. And they're sort of in this semicircle around a central yard here. But you don't see any merchants there. Is everybody going with Leonard into sort of town center?
I'm going to the
Sure.
black-bearded whatever.
Black-Bearded Brother?
Yes.
Okay. You enter the Black-Bearded Brother, which is this bar right here. That building right there. I don't have an inside of it. But as you sort of enter the bar, there's a bunch of, not a bunch, but there are several people sort of sitting around drinking, and a long, slow door opens, and you enter the tavern. A few people are sitting around making merriment and drinking. They all sort of stop and look at you for a half second as you enter, and then proceed to go right back to drinking mirth. As several of the locals just sort of sipping on something. What are you doing in the Black-Bearded Brother?
Do I get the impression that anyone in here is not a local, like they're sort of minding their own business? They didn't look up and
roll perception. Everybody here looks pretty local to you. Everybody sort of looked up for a brief second and back to their stuff. Are you trying to like listen in on conversations or sitting down having a drink?
Yeah, I'm gonna sort of find a table in a corner so I can kind of observe and order a
Okay.
drink and sort of.
Is anybody going with Harkus, or is he going with the Black-Bearded Brother by himself?
I'll go with it.
I'll follow.
Cadillac and Toot. What about you, Ardella and Leonardo? Y'all doing?
Well,
own
if
things?
everybody else is, I guess I will.
No feel, no pressure. All right. So you all
No,
sit.
it's fine.
Might as well. I was worried how they feel about 2 orcs entering a bar together.
They don't seem to pay much mind to you.
Okay.
You guys sit in the corner. Everybody roll perception real quick.
Can I guide myself?
You sure can. Give me your guidance roll, Toot. 18 will do it. Toot, you catch people sort of talking. They're mostly talking about like no fish, and everybody is scared of the monster. There's just lots and lots of talk about the beast out in the water keeps tumping the boats over, and you hear one person say, "I saw that beast in its eyes, and it looked at me and it said, 'No fish for you.'" And then another person says, "It didn't say that." He says, "Yes, it did. It opened its mouth and it said, 'No fish for you.'" But other than people saying some like crazy things about this lake monster that seems to be the big talk about town, you don't. With an 18, you don't hear anything about ice murders or anything like that. That seemed to be in Targos, and nothing about anything like that happening here. But the one weird thing that catches your ear is you hear people talking about like invisible things happening. Like you hear there are 2 people that are talking about sort of rumors about like unseen figures skulking around areas. Like people talk about like things all of a sudden missing, and particularly over in like they're talking about like, well, he says he heard that in Caer Carnig that invisible thieves are skulking around the town and taking everything. So that stood out as kind of weird. Like, outside of the lake monster talk, invisible people. But other than that, that's all you sort of gather. Particularly in Caer Carnig, which maybe it stood out to you because you had been talking about Caer Carnig, and you sort of heard that name pop up in relation to where you knew that Garrett Valerian was to Caer Carnig. So to hear somebody mention it and hear like invisible foes skulking around the town sort of piqued your interest.
Yeah, so hearing that, I imagine I would lean in on the table, like closer to everybody, and I would whisper in the voices that I just heard say this for the rest of the party to know what I had just learned. And for fun, I'll throw in a no fish for you.
Arcus is basically completely uninterested in all of this, is going to just sort of slam back his pint, stand up, and walk out, thinking the beer crawl continues.
Duke will follow, saying, no fish for you.
I guess I'll follow.
Jeff, we can't hear you.
Yeah, your microphone's not working. I see you talking, but no sound is coming.
Test.
There you go.
Yay.
Yep.
Yay.
Weird. I don't know what happened. Yeah. So what bar are you headed to there, or where are you headed? The other places you haven't been are the Grumpy Moose, the River's Mouth, Stones, and Even Keel.
I'm just gonna go to the one right next door. This one.
That is the Grumpy Moose.
Yay.
That's where I wanted to go anyway.
Same.
It turns out that all these bars were owned by 5 different brothers that hated each other.
Awkward.
And instead of working together to form a bar, they all formed their own bar. Like, F you, I'll make my own bar. You sit down in the Grumpy Moose, and similarly, there's a bunch of mostly local yokels yakking it up, and there's less people in the Grumpy Moose than in the Black-Bearded Brother, and it seems to be run down a little bit more. But in fact, nobody even stops to look at you as you walk into the Moose. Everybody just sort of bar crawling through Bremen.
Yeah, do they have good mead?
They do. They have good mead.
Then I'm bar crawling.
Yeah, getting a good mead.
Getting a good mead.
Fair enough. All right. Everybody can roll perception.
May I guide myself?
Sure.
Ooh.
Cadillac granite guts.
Cadillac. Dang. Critically good perception. What you get with critically good perception is you hear people again talking about the lake monster, and that they're trying to find people to go fishing, and that he says, well, I hear that Grinsk has hired a band of folks that are supposed to meet up here to take out and go catch some new fish, but he's not the most honorable type. I don't know what sort he'd be bringing in, but hopefully some new scrimshanders will be here soon, and we can get the fish flowing. Hopefully somebody can do something about the beast that's been thumping the boats. And so you hear that, something about Grinsk, who's hiring some people. And then the other thing you hear with critically good perception is you hear somebody burping. You hear the somebody says, "I tell you, the buried treasures has really gone down lately. It used to be the absolute place, but now I don't even know what to say about it. They just don't seem to have the help they used to have." And then you hear the person that's talking to them says, "Yes, Cora Malfoon, she just can't do it all by herself anymore, can she?" And the other one says, "Shame." So yeah, that's what you pick up.
Interesting.
Someone named Grinsk has hired some fishermen that are supposed to be showing up. Somebody that's willing to go out on the lake. And the buried treasures has really gone down lately. Cora just can't seem to do it.
Jeff, was that the name of one of the other bars?
No, it was the name of the local inn. All of these bars don't have any rooms to stay at.
Oh, that's right. They're just bars.
Just for drinking. And you guys owe some money for your drinks.
Yes.
As there's a cover. So I need a silver piece for each of you that have been in a bar. So 2 silver pieces apiece for the 2 bars you've been in for drinks.
Let's see.
And you've picked up on a couple things. The monster, one person says the monster told him, "No fish for you." At least that's what he says. Somebody named Grinsk is hiring fishermen, and the buried treasures is going down. And you picked up somebody talking about Caer Konig and unseen or invisible thieves.
Jeff, these currencies are in freedom units and don't freely convert between one another. How many GP are in the...
10 silver, 1 gold.
Okay.
Silver's 1/10 of a gold.
Yeah, I was totally expecting it to do that too.
Now wait till I pull out the platinum pieces. Or Electrum. Let me pull out some Electrum for you, and then you're really screwed.
Oh, we got Electrum in the last campaign, which is why I knew it wasn't SP to EP to GP.
Electrum is half. Electrum's like 5 silver pieces, half a gold. It's like a silver dollar. Nobody uses it. I think. I'll make sure that's right. Yeah, so that's what you pick out. Are you guys going...
I'm
going elsewhere? Yeah, 1 Electrum is a half a gold piece.
I'm willing to volunteer to be a fisherman.
Okay.
I think that sounds like fun too.
All right. It is getting somewhat late in the day as you've been in the bar for a couple of hours now, listening 2 separate bars. You've been in the Moose and the Brother. So it's getting now to about like 4 o'clock, where sun is setting below the horizon and things are starting to get cold. So are you guys going to seek rooms for the night, or just keep drinking in the inn and move from one bar to the other? Or are you looking for Torga's thing, or are you going to, as the evening rolls on, try looking for the guy?
I would like to try looking for the guy, so that
I
we
would
can
like
get
to
on
try
a
looking for
crew.
the guy.
Yeah, are you asking people about Torga's while you're in the bar? Or are you sort of trying to like find out where they're at? It's getting late, but it's not like all the merchants would be closed yet. You know, it's starting to get dark, but like they would still potentially be working. I'm just giving suggestions about what you could potentially do.
No, I'd like, before we run off, I'd like to ask somebody about Torga's, maybe the proprietor of the second bar.
Okay, the black-bearded brother.
The hungry moose.
The Moose. You're at the Moose. Yeah. You there is a grizzled-looking barkeep there who seems to be the proprietor of this ramshackle joint, the Grumpy Moose, and you call him over, and he comes over and looks at you and says, "Aye, what can I do for you, Master?
Leonard.
Leonard. Yes, Master Leonard. What can I do for you?"
I get that a lot for some reason. I'd like a round for all of us, and I throw him a gold piece.
Oh, that's very generous of you, sir. Thank you.
Or I hand him a gold piece directly to his hand from my hand.
And you put it in his palm.
Right. I have learned.
And he looks at you and says, "That's very generous of you. Thank you."
While you're here, have you heard anything about a merchant coming through town?
Aye, Torga. She's set up down by the docks on the eastern part of town. Puts up her stand where she keeps her dog sled. She dog sleds from town to town, sometimes crossing tundra and going off-road as they travel by dog sled. As I said, sleds of dogs.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah, they've made it into town about 2 days ago. And on the eastern part of town, near the waterfront.
Is that where the guy is putting together a fishing expedition at the docks?
I mean, I imagine he would be down by the docks, but Torga's is to the east. So if I bring up the Bremen map here, he basically says, I'm sorry, I mean west. If I was to put it on a map here for you, let me find something that can be a marker. Give me anything. Hang on. I'm just going to use one of your characters. Does that make sense? Leonard, the docks would be sort of over here, docks. And then he tells you that Torga has basically set up down by the waterfront over like here somewhere.
Okay. So not far away from where the fishing expedition is being built.
Yeah, off the docks, but not too far off the docks, but not right on the docks, near the water's edge. And you guys are at the 5 Tavern Center right now, so I'll show you where you're at on this version of the map.
Yeah,
right
I've got everything I need to mosey toward the docks.
Okay. Are you just heading straight to the docks?
I'm going to let everybody know sort of what I'm thinking and where my interest lies, because I'm thinking about getting one of them dogs from Torga's sled. I'm going to try to buy a dog now. If anybody else thinks we should go that way. If everybody says, let's just get on the boat and become fishermen, okay, I'm not going to try to buy a dog yet.
Okay, heading down towards the docks. Or what are we doing?
That's all the ideas I got.
That's Leonard's idea.
Let's go ahead and go dog shopping.
Okay. So
maybe you can help sniff out the crack.
You're heading towards where the barkeep tells you Torga's has made their camp?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You make your way across outside Bremen. You leave the barkeep area, make your way down towards the docks. It's relatively quiet as you pass the dock area. As you do so, are you walking by the docks, or I apologize, I should ask, like, what route are you going? Are you avoiding the docks because you don't want to get caught up in anything, or you?
No, it looked like the probably the quickest way to get there was to go to the docks and then along the waterfront to the.
Okay, so that's kind of the route you're going.
That's what I would think. Yeah.
Excuse me. Okay. As you approach the docks, actually move your character pieces down to the dock area, wherever you're going. The lake around the creaky docks is frozen, and fishermen have pulled rowboats up onto the ice. The larger ships are locked into the ice and unmovable. Standing between a pair of boats is a stout humanoid in cold weather clothing with a gray hood hiding most of his face, but you can make out a wide nose and a long frosty beard. As you approach the docks, the stout figure looks at you and spots you and waves you over. And he looks over at you and he shouts, "Good, you're here. Get to it, you ingrates. Those fish ain't gonna catch themselves."
I just repeat in his voice, "Get to it, ingrates. Those fish aren't gonna catch themselves."
"Are you mocking me, boy?" And he starts, he just like becomes like profane and is like, "Ah, you lubber bastards." He says, "I hire you for the agreed upon price. 5 copper piece per each trout you catch. You're wasting precious fishing catching time." "Come on now.
Well,
To work with you scurvy dogs." And I don't want to, I'm not going to curse since this is on YouTube, but he laces his comments with all profanity. And starts like motioning and walking you towards the docks. "I got 2 fine boats for you here." And he brings you up to 2 of these small rowboats. They're sort of like, your characters are way too big for these, but 2 of these small rowboats that are sort of locked in the ice or sitting on top of the ice, each of which looks like they could carry probably 3 of you. And he says, "2 fine boats for you here." And he says, "The pronged goat and the burly ram." And you can see on their names, one of them is named the pronged goat and one is named the burly ram. And he says, "Come on now, we ain't got time to lose. 5 copper piece per fish, and you're losing time and losing daylight."
That math just doesn't work out favorably to Leonard. If nobody's catching any fish and we're paid, but Leonard does not want a productivity model for his fishing.
"What do you mean nobody's catching any fish? There's plenty of fish to be caught. What, you believe the local fish stories? People scared of a thing knocking things in the water?"
Something like that, yeah.
Psh, poppycock. People just don't want to work no more. "Fine, I'll make it a better deal for you. And you'll never get this from anybody else. 1 silver piece per trout." Look, locals need fish. You ain't gonna get a better deal than that. And you need work. So get on the boat and get some fish if my name ain't Grinsk.
So you don't think there's anything out there that's going to get us or capsize our boat? Or kill us?
Bunch of old sailor folk yapping. People's got to eat. You need work. Let's go.
I'm gonna. What does everybody else think? Are we going fishing? Are we going dog shopping? What's?
He says, "Time is better spent angling than yapping."
Because
he grumbles in Dwarvish. Do any of you speak Dwarvish? Don't you, Cadillac?
Yep.
Yeah, he's grumbling.
Hopefully.
These people are needlessly rude and stupid and need to get to work.
I'm
Like I can
I'm
hear
going to
you.
propose, if we decide to fish, if we decide that we're fishermen for a minute, I'm going to propose that we negotiate a flat fee up front in case we don't catch any fish, but do get set upon by the monsters he doesn't believe in.
He
Yes,
says, I pay for fish, not for going out on the water and playing with your ding-a-ling for a while.
So I'm not saying that there is a kraken, but if there is a kraken and we slay it, what are you going to pay us? Because
1 silver piece per fish you catch.
I'll say that still counts as 1.
it's still just 1.
It's a really big fish. He looks over at you and says, listen, if all you're going to do is ask a bunch of questions, then, if you're not here to work, you can get off my docks.
Wow. Leonard is willing
Go ahead.
to go be a fisherman.
What does everybody say?
I think Toot just repeats him again. If you're not gonna work, get off my docks. And I like.
He looks over you and he says, "Damn right."
I'm still looking dead at him as if I expect him to go with us.
I run the boats.
His job is just to look pretty.
I pay the money. I run the boats. You want some silver pieces? Bring back some fish. And he says you can take the goat and the ram. And he says, bring back your catch and I'll deliver the monies. And he starts sort of off in the opposite direction.
At this point, I've pulled my hood back up and I'm walking back to the third bar that I haven't been.
As you're starting to do that, a slender elvish man comes running up to you guys, all as he's standing there, and the slender elvish figure is wagging a finger at Grince as he's starting to walk off, and he says, at this frosty bearded dwarf that's starting to walk away, he says, "Have you no honor, barrel bore?" Pulling down a wooden muffler to reveal this pale, like half elven face, and he says, "You're sending these innocents to their deaths, and for what? A few fish?" And he looks over at you all and says, "Pay no mind to this rambling fool." He says, "Did you tell them about the monster?" He says, "Yeah, they ask about it."
He said there wasn't a monster.
"There's no monster." And he says, "Forsooth, there is a monster." And he grins, sort of curses in Dwarvish at everybody, and then turns back at you all and says, "Get to work!" And just storms off in a huff.
I just point at him and yell, "Get to work," as he storms off.
Love it.
Yeah, he storms off in a huff.
I'm not sure how I feel about this for 1 silver piece.
The elvish man.
Or possibility of 1 silver piece.
Just
Not
to help
even
me
guaranteed.
understand sort of what this economically might mean. Are these like net fishing vessels or pole fishing vessels?
Sounds like pole fishing.
Like, am I catching 1 fish at a time or am I catching nets of fish at a time?
If you get on that boat,
Oh,
I
my
will see you
goodness.
when you get back.
Oh my goodness.
I will be in the bar.
So I like.
waiting,
Okay. I
Perhaps
want.
by
I
myself
want.
for the rest of
I want to pause Dungeons and Dragons here for a moment, and I just want to review what is happening with this group. The Icewind Dale is starving to death because a monster is preventing fishermen from catching all of their fish. You get to town and a man has mistaken you for a fisherman that he has hired to go catch fish. And instead of thinking, we're heroes, we could go take care of this monster and save the people, you're like, he's not paying enough for fish.
That's exactly right.
Okay,
That's
he's
exactly right.
That's what's wrong with the economy.
We could just go around the map, like, finding ways not to do the quests.
He's got the boats. He's got the boats. We don't have boats.
What I'm
The local,
actually
the small
thinking-
elven man, as you're thinking this, the slender elvish man says, "Oh, I really don't like that Grinsk. Anyone who steps between him and the gold swimming and the gold that's swimming in that lake to him. He says, I'm sorry, I did not introduce myself. My name is Tali. And I greatly apologize because I'm using the inappropriate pronouns for him because he's not a he. They, out of the book, says, I could not just stay silent and watch another crew fall victim to the monster of Lake Merdwelden.
Have you happened to see a man with a dog going through lately?
Burly guy.
Yeah,
With a
burly
dog.
guy with a dog.
No.
Okay, just wanted to ask. Please continue.
Burly guy with a dog. Should I have?
No, it's just an idle question. Let us know if you do.
It's called due diligence.
Right.
Burly man with a dog. I'm sorry, I have not. He says, I've been studying the local wildlife here in the Icewind Dale, and this monstrous creature I am fascinated by.
The creature that's killing the fisherman?
Well, so they say. Is it actually a monster?
I say Cadillac's got money that it's a kraken.
Some people say it's the size of an ox, and others say it's the size of a horse. Some say a whale or some other larger fish, and other people say it's more lizard-like in appearance with scaly gray skin and a long neck. He says, I can tell its mouth is about the size of like a horse-like creature, and he looks over at one of the boats, and you can see there's some damage in one of the boats, and he says, despite whatever Grinsk may say, this boat was found adrift, and its crew presumably lost to the monster. Says, anything that you could know may help. Certainly something has changed. The environment, the cold, the freezing of the lake may have forced it out of its habitat, and its behavior is much unusual. If you do encounter it, if you're able to record anything that you find about it, its size, physical attributes, general nature. I mean, very few people have survived an encounter with it, so do be careful, but it would help our studies tremendously to know what's happening.
Do you
Who do
have
we talk
a
to
good
about a
boat?
bounty on this thing?
Say what?
Who do we talk to about a bounty on this thing? Because that's at this point, I'm really not interested in any of this. Like, I'm like, this is meat and potatoes. I'm ready to go.
No more
But I
lawful
need to know
good.
who's going to pay me to put myself at risk. So
It
you
says
tell me where I need to go. You tell me who I need to talk to, and I'm getting on a boat, and I'm going to bring back some horse-headed monster. I don't even care. That's just what.
Yay.
Kraken pelt.
I didn't say kill it.
I'm going to make a coat out of a kraken. Is what I'm
He
going
looks
to
over and says, he looks horrified and says, animals should be studied and observed. It's not a monster.
We gonna ride it in?
There are a lot of dead
Treat it as a
people that
pet?
would argue that point with you.
Yeah.
He says, I can't offer you much but my gratitude.
Well, then
And
you're
any
not the person I
information.
need
That
to talk to.
doesn't buy us food.
Yeah. Who do I need to talk to?
Ah,
Where's the mayor of this town? Where's whomever I need to speak with? Because we are here and willing to help you. Well,
you,
the rest of the town who seems more reasonable than you, but we're willing to rid the town of this monster if the price is right.
he says, I suppose it would be Dorbograf Shaleskar? He's the local speaker.
Point me in his direction, please.
And he says, well, Dorbograf would probably be Well, he would probably be staying at the. You can usually find him at the Buried Treasure. They have a small bar there. He's
Wasn't it
friends-
the Moose? Wasn't it the
he's-
black-bearded brother?
yes, he's
Good man.
friends with he is friends with Cora Malfoon. Ever since what happened to her son, he
I heard that place is having some hard times.
yes, things are not great for them. But ever since what's happened to her son, he's been, doing what he can to help Cora around the bar.
Did the horse-headed Kraken eat her son? Just
I don't think so. No, I don't know.
did he die on a boat?
I don't think so. He ran away or something.
Okay, then
He's not the smartest lass or lad, not lass. I don't know exactly what happened to him. I think he ran off or something. Anyway, regardless, if you're looking for bounties, I suppose the speaker of town would be one to speak to.
then I will bid you adieu, and will probably not bring you very much left of this thing once I make my coat, but whatever's left, I'm happy to let you have.
Well, anything that would be available for study would be most helpful. Thank you. I suppose. And you just flip your hood up.
Hood comes back on. Start making my way back into
He
town.
looks kind of sullen and sort of skulks off. So, are you guys heading to where Torgas had set up camp, or are you heading back into town?
If we've got a direction,
I guess we're going to go talk to the mayor about the bounty,
Yeah.
right?
let's go talk to the mayor about the bounty.
Okay. He told you that you'd be able to find the mayor probably at the Buried Treasure, which is the Buried Treasures, which is a local inn. I'll take you there, and that would be Dorble Gruff Shale Scar. You come upon the Buried Treasures. It is an inn that caters to treasure seekers, specifically those who pan for treasure around the riverbank. It has a little pan on its sign, like panning around the river for gold. And you find yourselves there outside of the bar.
Okay. I'm just going to sort of walk up
To the window.
to the wall.
Walks through the window. I like that saying. Harkus climbs in the window. All right, you all enter said establishment.
Okay. And then I'm going to take a look around. And
There's several people that are drinking and making a little bit of merry.
This mustachioed man over in the corner looks like probably the guy that I'm looking for.
Yeah, there is a dwarf with a rather impressive mustache that is sitting over in the corner talking to some folks. And there is a woman that is sort of running around all the Withershins, just seemingly desperately trying to kind of keep up with the goings-ons.
Okay. I'm just going to walk over and sort of interrupt this guy after the door very slowly opens.
Yeah. And he looks over at you and says, "Aye."
Are you Dribble by chance?
No.
What? I'm looking for the speaker of the town or some such
Aye.
nonsense.
That's I, Speaker Shale Scar. Who are you
Okay,
calling
good.
Dribble?
But I'm sorry. There are so many names, so many people.
He gets around.
Look, I'm really pretty simple. Your names get complicated. I kind of tune you out. I'm just here to offer some help. We understand you have a monster problem, and my friends and I here, I believe, are your solution.
And as that's happening, the young woman comes up and goes, the elder, not young woman, the woman sort of comes up and says, Dorble, do you know this gentleman? Can I get your guest, your friend, anything to drink? And he looks over at her and says, That'll do, Cora. Leave us be. This orcish gentleman here claims to have the solution to our town's ails.
And before she turns away, I'm just going to say, Mead.
She looks
And
over
then
and goes,
I'm going to sit down in the chair.
Aye. And she hurriedly goes and tries to go get some mead. Yeah, you sit down in the chair, and what are the rest of you guys doing? Are you all going over to the table? I don't mean to exclude Toot and particularly Ordella. What's Ordella doing? I have not heard from Ordella in a while.
Let's see. I'm gonna go up.
I need to get you
bar.
guys killing some things again so that Ordella can do
Yes.
something.
I have one skill. I'm just gonna go up to the bar and get me some mead.
Okay.
Listen in on stuff.
Yeah, you're listening on things at the bar.
I think Ordella is orcish for Liam.
The woman that is working the bar seems to be just running like crazy. Like she's just desperately overworked, and it takes you an inordinately long amount of time to get your mead. But eventually she brings it back and says, Here you are, one mead. And at this point it's kind of warm. Despite the fact that it's very cold here, somehow it's kind of warm.
She's got some skills then. Warm up my
It's
mead.
been sitting here on the counter for a while. Yeah, and the speaker says, Well, sir, I'm listening. And he strokes his long beard.
We understand that there is some kind of a horse-headed water monster of some
Aye.
kind.
Boat's been knocked over.
We also understand that there might be the opportunity for an enterprising crew of let's just say enthusiasts who might be able to perhaps monetarily benefit from correcting your problem.
Aye. So you're looking for payment, eh?
Yeah. And you're looking for a solution to your problem.
I suppose if you have a method with which to extract the beast from the waters and eliminate it, then I'd take you up on said offer.
Have you explored the option before?
Yes, but you seem to bring a new courage and new vigor to the ongoings. So, what say we settle on a fair price? I would say 100 gold pieces for capture of the monster. I think that's more than fair.
Per party member does sound quite fair.
How many party members do you require?
We have 6.
6. He kind of spits his beer a little bit and says, No.
How much is the fishing industry worth to you?
Not.
How much is the town worth?
He says 300 gold. We don't have that kind of gold here. We're a small town. So this is...
I'll tell you what. You know what?
This is... You may be... I can tell by your voice that you are from the south, but this is not Waterdeep. We simply do not have that gold.
I'm interested in this monster. We'll do it for 300.
Aye, sir, 300 gold. And extends a hand to you and says, Cora, bring this man and his friends another drink. And she, like, sweatingly, like, comes over and says, right away, sir. And he says, and brings drink. He says, poor lass. Ever since.
Does Leonard notice sort of how hard she's working and how rough she looks?
Leonard seems to have a great understanding of human interactions. So why don't you roll me insight, Leonard? Maybe Leonard thinks that she's leaking. She's a hard worker.
Because, like, you know, I've tried the drinking mead thing. I'm not opposed to trying the serving mead thing.
Leonard thinks she could probably use some help.
Okay, I'll offer to help her.
She looks over at you and says, that's very gracious of you, sir, but it's just been hard since Hurwar. She briefly explains to you that her son, Hurwar, used to help do chores and things until 2 months ago. She says it's been hard since he left.
Where did he go?
She says he joined a search party to find the speaker, Mr. Shalescar, over there that your friend is speaking to. He went missing.
He's there.
Say?
I found him.
Oh, yes, he returned. The speaker came back safe and sound, but Hurwar got separated from the others and didn't find his way home until the next morning. And when he got here, he was frostbitten and could barely walk. But something changed in him. He turned mean. He had some thing that he kept with him, this like piece of black ice, black as the darkest night, shone with almost a violaceous hue. When you looked in it, he would stare at it all hours. I tried to get it away from him, but he threatened to hurt me if I ever touched him or it again.
So where is he now?
She says, that's the weird part. The next day or so later, 2 horned people. I think some call them tieflings or tieflings. I've never seen people like them. They showed up here and they offered to take him to their sanctuary in their castle, and he just went with them. Just up and went with them like that, willingly taking that dreadful piece of black ice with him. He told me he would never come back. And here's the scary thing to me. Those 2 horned people, they wore these necklaces, these amulets that had similar sorts of black pieces on them.
Also, he joined a cult.
What? No, Horror would never do that. It was like something had hold of his mind.
Okay, back to our original question. Do you want help or not?
Yes, please. I'd be willing to grant you rooms for the night, for you and your party.
Sure. I just want to see if I'm good at it.
And she says, you could start serving drinks over to the bar.
Okay. Is Leonard any good at this?
Leonard, you walk over to the bar, and there's a thin, waifish man there, and he says, you can start getting ales for people. Leonard, roll me dexterity.
Oh.
At some point, a man ducks out of the kitchen and says, shouts back, "Well, a fish! It's gonna be all lobster and sea bugs from here on in the stews." And he slams the door to the kitchen and heads back in.
All right. Well, I'll help out while we extort money from the speaker and get ready to.
Yeah, so Harkus, you've been promised 300 gold pieces for proof of the destruction of the monster.
Okay.
Do you tell the party that?
Yes.
Okay, so everybody knows. And Leonard, you've learned the tale of Harawar and the tieflings and the black piece of black ice that he had.
Yeah, I suspect that's going to come back to bite us in the ass later. So I'm
He
sorry.
took them away to their castle.
Bite us in the fix it in post later. And yeah, I figure we will hear more of the Blackstone cultists or whatever they are.
Well, she said it was a castle. Is anybody inquiring with anybody for any other information or anything? With the town speaker or with her, or with any patrons in the bar? Or are you digging into that at all or no?
I'd like to know more about the castle.
Who are you asking?
I'll ask her if she knows anything else about it.
She says, they said they were going to their castle, but the only castles I know of in the entire area are in Caer Dineval, and there's like a ruined one that's all in just like shambles over in Caer Cornig. Those are the only two castle structures I know of in the entire Dale. I can't imagine that he would have gotten out of the Icewind, out of the Dale, out of the 10 towns. But I don't know. If you see him, please tell him that his mother loves him and that I want him home.
Will do.
Okay. All right. The evening passes. Is anybody doing anything else? Leonard, what was your dexterity?
Oh, it's an 8.
You're not very good at it. You spill several drinks, and you don't get any tips.
Yeah,
no tips. But you all do get free rooms.
Worth it.
Indeed.
Okay.
All right, Leonard's ready to do some fishing or fish murdering or.
All right. Are you staying for the night? It is now gotten to the point where it is getting late.
Perfect time to go fishing for a monster.
Okay. Are you heading down to the docks at night?
No.
That could be fun.
I know. Oh, one party member short tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, you never know. All right. So you guys turning in for the night?
May as well head out at first light.
Sure.
Okay. All right. And everybody can take a long rest if you haven't taken one.
Long rest. Click, click.
Okay. The next day comes. I could put you all in rooms, but I won't bother since I'm not having any events happen in the nights here. The next day comes, no events, and you're at the city of Bremen. And you are over here at the buried treasures. So I assume you're headed back to the docks. On the docks, you find the same dwarven man sort of there. He says, "Well, I hope you has changed your mind and are willing to take the boats out, catch some fish. It's early today."
In his voice, I just say, "Get to work."
He sort of laughs at that and says, "Aye, a silver piece per fish it is."
We're earning double monies.
We don't have another boat, so.
Is there a bigger boat?
There is a bigger boat. It is frozen solid in the ice.
Of course it is.
If you ask him about it, he says, Ice on the lake is too tight to take out the large boats ever since this foul, wretched winter. You have to walk the smaller one across till you find the openings in the ice, and then you can paddle it through the. It can be paddled between the pieces of ice. But the big boats is too frozen.
Does the monster come up like through the ice, or just like?
Ain't no
break the ice?
monster. What are you talking about? A bunch of fish tails. Jeez, don't listen to that skinny elven dude.
Do I believe him?
Roll insight, I guess. He is not being truthful. You can tell that there's a lie in his voice. You can tell that there's also some desperation that like he needs to bring in the fish. And he's sort of willing to overlook that maybe you aren't the party he hired, or maybe you are. He doesn't care. He needs somebody to work.
I just repeat the other guy and I say, "Have you no shame?" in his voice.
Oh.
He sort of curses in Dwarvish and says, "Work, don't work, whatever you want. But if you're taking my boats out, bring back some fish."
All right.
I'm in one of the boats just waving at everybody.
Yeah, same.
I'll
Okay.
hop in.
You're in the boats. Who's in what boat? There are 2 boats. They can fit 3 people each.
All right. I'll be in this boat.
I think I'll hop in the boat with Ordella.
Okay, Ordella, Toot, and who else is in that boat?
I'll go with Leonard.
Ordella, Toot, and Leonard. That leaves Cadillac, Granite Guts, and Harkus in a boat, and Yatara in a boat.
And Yatara in a boat.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. You guys start out onto the lake, and what are you doing? Are you going fishing, or are you?
Leonard is leveling up his fishing skill while we are in transit.
Okay. The lake is entirely still and quiet while you're out there. You spend about an hour out there just sort of like pushing the boat around, and you encounter essentially nothing. I need to take the bar music off and give you some boat music. So let me do that real quick. On the lake.
I think as you're doing that and as we're getting closer, I think that Toot will look over at Ordella and say, "You like to hit things."
Oh, very much.
You're muted. And then I will hand over the ring of swimming and say, "This might be better for you."
Yeah, the boat is quiet, or the lake is relatively quiet as you're out on it, pushing between the pieces of ice. And are you fishing?
Yes.
Okay. Roll me a, I guess, survival to fish for the hour.
Okay. Survival. Can I take advantage because I have fisherman's tools?
You can add your proficiency bonus.
Oh, that'll do. So I add 2 more to this.
Can I guide him?
Ooh.
You can.
Can I sing Old Bitey song while I'm doing it?
You can. Is anybody else fishing, or is it just Leonard?
I'll fish.
I'll fish.
All right, Leonard.
Okay. 26.
26.
Survival.
You catch 16 fish.
Ooh. I catch them all.
You don't
right.
catch them all. Ordella, you catch 13 fish.
And I caught a boot.
You lost your fishing tackle in the water.
You caught a giant monster.
You lose your fishing tackle
Oh no.
and the option to fish from here on out.
Now you're
Is
just
anybody else?
leaving our
Is anybody
hooks.
else fishing? If you're fishing, roll me survival.
I think I'm just guiding here.
Okay. All right. An hour passes. After about an hour, you're sort of sitting out on the lake. All of a sudden, a giant knucklehead troutfish just leaps out of the lake, and it smacks the boat with its fin and dives back into the water. This is everybody's passive perception as it sort of jumps out of the water and smacks it.
12.
Does anybody have a passive perception of 13 or greater?
Yes. Passive perception of 13.
Okay.
I have 13.
You can make me a dexterity. The two of you can make dexterity checks and see if you're able to grab the fish.
Oh, good. That's
Oh,
what
I would
gonna
love
do.
to try to grab the fish. Yes.
I'm looking.
Leonard, with a 21 dexterity, critical success, the knucklehead trout does not surprise you, and I think you go gadget arm just like up and just grab it out of the air, just kink, with like a robot pincer, and just retract it back in.
Nice.
And you have a giant knucklehead trout that's bigger than some of the other fish that you would have otherwise caught. You think to yourself this is worth like 10 silver pieces, maybe a whole
Only
gold.
one.
No, he
fish,
already
one
caught
silver.
16 earlier.
Am I
One fish, one
surprised
silver.
by how big it is?
It just seems like a really good sized fish all of a sudden. Everybody else, make me dexterity saving throws, please. That were not surprised by the fish. So Ordella and Leonard were not surprised by the fish. So Toot, Granite Guts, and Harkus. Okay, you're all good. The boat sort of shimmy as this giant fish leaps out, but none of you fall in the water. And another hour passes, and as another hour comes to pass, you find your boats come upon what looks like a sunken wreck that is sort of like half in the water there, and half out, stuck in the ice. And as you're sort of floating near it, what does everybody do?
How old does it look? Or recent?
It's not super old. It looks relatively recent.
Do I think that it's stable enough to actually step onto?
Roll me perception,
I'm wondering the same thing.
or maybe insight.
Okay. Oof.
You're not certain. Give me the same thing, Harkus. If you know anything about boats, if anybody has boat proficiency, Harkus, yeah, this thing seems to be stuck in the ice pretty good, and you think you could stand on it. Granite Guts isn't certain, but you think yeah. It's
right.
frozen solid.
Since we're on the same boat, I'm just going to look at it.
As you're doing that, you start to notice some disturbance in the water near the sunken boat. Like bubbles sort of begin to form.
And I'll point those out to the group.
Okay, everybody, make me a perception check. As he does that.
Can I just say, "Here be monsters"? Do I have to do another one? Can I? Oh,
No, you've already perceived it.
Okay.
I'm looking the other way.
I did it anyway.
So Toot and Granite Guts, you catch it. Ripples disturb the surface of the water, and your boat bobs from side to side, and you two see what looks like a large mass glide through the dark water below you.
Nope.
I just scream Kraken.
You guys that saw it can roll a nature check, so that would be Toot, Granite Guts, and Harkus.
Carcass
Toot.
the cow.
Toot, you recognize this as what looks like a plesiosaurus to you. You've seen pictures of it before, maybe in your comedy shows. It's a weird-looking thing. It looks kind of like a plesiosaurus.
We
I don't think
kill
Toot would
Nessie.
have much of a way to really describe this. I think he's playing charades. Like he's like doing like the head and like the neck and like yeah, absolutely. We're like he's trying to describe it, but he just doesn't have the words for this.
Dino fish.
Elephant, water elephant.
Yeah, it's like flippers and long
Big.
neck and yeah.
Okay.
And then I point down.
All of a sudden, the head of a large creature breaches the surface of the water, and it splashes water at your boat. Just water just sort of splashes at you with like what looks like flippers, and everybody can roll dexterity really quick.
Saving throw or chat?
Yes, make a saving throw. Okay. Everybody but Toot manages to duck down as the water splashes, and Toot, you are covered in frozen cold water.
Ooh.
And the creature seems to like duck back beneath the surface of the water and vanishes for half a sec.
Did it make any noises or anything like that while it was above water?
Didn't seem to.
I am
Are you thinking about the crazy or is Toot reminded of the crazy fisherman that it said no fish for you? Toot.
He was, but he was thinking about mocking whatever this thing was. So
Based on the stability of the wrecked boat, I'm going to start kind of moving us over in that direction, looking at the sort of basically the threat to us out in what is open water.
Yeah, you're able to push the push your rowboat over to the wreck, and the wreck is locked there. It bobs a little bit as you sort of touch it. It's you think it's stable enough to walk on, but you're not 100% certain that it couldn't be dragged below the surface now that you're closer to it. You think you could stand on it without sinking, but
how does the surrounding ice look?
Broken into pieces.
Big pieces, little pieces. Stable
About the size
ice.
that you see on size that you see on the screen in front of you.
Okay.
So standable pieces.
Maybe
Like maybe
with the appropriate dexterity, and yes, you could potentially stand on ice and not fall into water. Maybe.
So I wonder perhaps if pulling the boats up onto this might be a little more stable for us, provide us a little better platform.
As you're doing that, all of a sudden, the creature resurfaces again, and it resurfaces way over there, and Ordella, it's nearest to you, and all of a sudden a long craning neck just appears out of the water, and it extends a mouth full of what look like nasty razor sharp looking teeth, and it chomps down on your boat and crits. And as it does so, it takes a giant colossal chunk out of the front of that rowboat, and the rowboat is pitching forward and starting to take on some water as your already damaged rowboat is beginning to take on a little bit of water, and the creature's head sinks beneath the surface now as your rowboat is starting to pitch downward into the water. And
I'm going to
I
ready
think-
one of my javelins
And I think that things are starting to get a little bit more intense for Ordella here,
Indeed.
as the boat is beginning to pitch down into the water.
Joy.
All right, I think we need to try to row over to the ship. I think Harkis's plan is a solid one, to try to get
Yes.
maybe over here with the boat.
Okay. I'm going to need Ordella, Toot, and Leonard to make me dexterity saving throws as your boat is starting to pitch upwards and beginning to sink.
So we're jumping over to the next boat and onto the
Where were all
Sinking.
these rolls when we were trying to get the dog? That's all
Yeah.
I
I
want.
know.
right.
Right. The dog would be under the water right now. Yeah, with those good roll-ins, you're able to climb onto what looks like a mast from this boat. You're able to sort of like get over here onto this mast-like thing. I'm going to say that you guys are not on the mast with your rowboat. You're sort of like more in the, over what would be the like central portion of the boat here. And I've got Ordella, Toot, and Leonard hanging onto the mast here as this boat begins to sink beneath the water. Pitches upward in sort of a wide angle, and within a few moments, under the surface of the water, it slips. You've readied a javelin, is that right?
Correct.
I imagine all of this reminds Toot of a story, and I'm wondering if I could remember a tale from beyond.
Okay. Yeah. Toot remembers a tale from beyond. All of a sudden, everybody on that boat, the other boat, in fact, everybody is, you're right where you're at right now, those on the mast, and Ordella has climbed into the other boat. All of you guys need to make a dexterity saving throw. As all of a sudden the boat violently blasts upward and rocks like crazy as something has smacked you from the underside.
But I got that ring of swimming.
Toot is questioning his decisions, but he's glad you have it.
Ordella. Okay.
Yes.
Granite Guts, you're knocked prone. Harkus, you're knocked prone. Toot, you stand up. Leonard and Ordella. Leonard and Ordella, the two of you are fallen into the icy water. Because all of a sudden, Leonard and Ordella splash down into, fall off and splash into the water. Leonard, you're like over here. You fell off this mast that you're climbing on. Ordella, you fell off of the boat somewhere. So you're now in the icy water, treading water. You've maybe never been this cold in all of your put together, as you're now in freezing cold water.
Good thing you've got warm coats.
It's great. It's
Warm, heavy
completely
coat.
soaked. In fact, it's so nice, warm, and waterlogged that it seems to grant disadvantage on all checks while wearing it in
Oh.
the water. As that happens, all of a sudden the head of a massive creature breaches the water and makes for Leonard that's treading water in the water. And everybody roll initiative.
Ba-da-bum, bum. Ba-da-bum, bum.
We didn't level up last week and I missed it, did we? Okay.
No, you've not. The beast lets out this tremendous roar and begins to make its way towards Leonard.
Got a 18.
All right.
Didn't click on mine.
I don't know why that didn't give me a token, so... Fortunately, the beast has rolled poorly.
Not as poorly as I did, but yes.
Toot, you're up first.
Did you get my 18?
I did not. Ardella with an 18.
I can still see this thing.
You can. It's breached the surface. It's moving towards Leonard. You are currently clinging to what looks like a part of the mast of this partially sunken boat.
Okay.
I'm going to turn down some of this volume a bit.
Yeah, I think I'm going to look at this thing and I'm going to attempt to cast Shatter. And I'll say, why doesn't a window scream when you shatter it? Because it's painless.
Oh.
I know, I'm sorry. It's obligatory at this point, I'm sorry.
No, it's good.
And I need a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Critical fail, baby.
Okay, it takes 21 damage. And I don't know how easily I can move along this. Is it difficult terrain or what is this?
Yes, it would be difficult terrain for you to swim through. And most checks that you're going to make are going to be at disadvantage if you're wearing that heavy coat.
Yeah.
But you're on the mast. You're on the mast. So yeah, you're not in the water. So difficult terrain. But you're wet. You're soaking wet, aren't you?
Yes.
You got splashed.
All right, so I think I can move here, and it's 10 feet of movement.
Yep.
And I think I'm gonna move along the mast. I'm just gonna get to 15. I'm gonna get as close to like quote unquote land as I can here. I think that's all I'm doing. Oh, actually, so that's Leonard that's in the water closest to this thing, right?
Yeah, the thing is moving towards old Leonard swimming.
Yeah, so I think I will look at Leonard and I'll say the adjective of metal is metallic, but not so for iron, which is ironic. And I will give you bardic inspiration.
I will gladly take that bardic inspiration.
Okay. Harkus, you're up.
Okay. I am going to use my action to take to use my Breath of the Dragon.
Okay. Meets.
So takes half damage, and I was going to do since he is a water, let's do some lightning damage to him.
Oof. Okay. As you blast it with Dragon Breath, Ardella, you're up.
Okay, so let's see. I know, baby.
No.
All right, I am.
We're almost done.
I know. I am gonna shoot at him with my crossbow, I guess, from this distance.
Okay.
Or how far? Far?
You're within range. Just go ahead and make your attack, and then you can go take care of her.
Ah!
That is a big old miss.
Alas.
Alas.
I know.
The beast then dives under the water. You can go take care of her. The beast then dives under the water as it sort of turns away from Leonard and disappears. And all of a sudden, the boat that Granite Guts, I guess it's Where are you, Harkus?
In the middle of the boat, making my way over toward I was trying to get over toward kind of what just happened? Yeah. I'm in the middle
I
of the
just
boat.
see where your character is.
Yeah. My plan was always to sort of make it over toward kind of the ice with the boat.
Are you still on the rowboat?
Yeah, I guess I am, since I didn't tell you that I was.
I don't know where your token is, so.
Yeah, I'm right here on the boat.
Okay, I just didn't see it. Oh, I guess you're under Granite Guts, that's why. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha. All right, so you two all of a sudden need to make me a collective strength check. Both Granite Guts and Harkus need to make a strength check, and I'm going to roll one for Yatara too.
So does it matter that I'm still prone?
It's going to be disadvantaged.
Okay.
I need to see really quickly what Yatara's strength is, because I'm going to say he's on the boat.
Oh, I did a save. Sorry.
Yeah, make me a check.
Okay.
Okay, Yatara's strength. How strong is a wizard? Let's see. +0. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Straight up D20. Oh, holy cow, Yatara crits it. With Yatara critting it, that is enough for 2/3 of you to pass. And you do not... The boat, somehow you manage to, like, with all of your might, manage to hold the boat from being flipped over, and you're not in the water. But the beast seems to be under the water, and it's dark, and you can't see it. Leonard, you are in the drink right now. You're muted, Kenny.
Sorry. I'm going to try to swim back to something approaching stability.
Okay. So you're able to do that. It's going to be half your movement speed.
Okay, then that'll get me to like here.
Yep. Are you going to try to pull yourself back onto the boat?
I will use my action to do that, yeah.
All right. Make me an athletics check. It's going to be disadvantaged, since you're wearing a wet, sopping coat, unless you're taking off the coat. 8's not going to do it. You're not able to pull yourself back out of the drink. You're still in the water as you try to pull, but the weight of that heavy fur coat soaking with water that you're wearing. Are you not wearing a coat? Wait, are you not?
I'm not wearing a coat.
Okay, you wouldn't be wearing one because you have the heater box.
But it doesn't matter anyway.
No, I was going to say a 10 will pass.
Oh.
I was only going to make you roll disadvantage because you're wearing that silly coat.
Oh, then I'll take the 10, no coat.
Yeah, you're able to pull, with no coat, you're able to pull yourself up onto the boat next to Yatara, Granite Guts, and Harkus. Granite Guts, you're up. You know the beast tried to knock your boat under the water, but you managed to hold it steady.
Yeah. I think I'm going to use my action to stabilize myself and get up.
Huh?
And do I have movement after that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just half of it.
Let's see. That means that. Okay, so 5, 10. Huh. Oh, so I can still attack.
Yes.
Okay. But there's nothing to attack. Can I ready an attack?
You can.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna do.
What are you gonna do?
A javelin attack.
Just the moment it breaches the surface, you're gonna just pelt it with a javelin.
Yeah, I think so.
Which direction are you looking in?
Towards the middle of the pool here.
Okay,
Let's say about right there.
got it. So you just ready a javelin on the boat to throw at it.
Yes, I think so.
All right, Toot. You'd be up.
Okay, I cannot see this thing, right?
It's under the water, unless you try to do something to.
No.
You could try to. You could try to perceive it. You could. You might could pick it out, but.
I could. Am I standing on this mast, or am I like falling across it, or what am I doing?
However you'd want to be.
Okay. I don't remember the rules for jumping, but can I cross this without going into the water?
Yes.
Okay. Do I need a form of check to do so?
No.
Okay, and how much movement will that take me to do so?
Depends on how far you're going to jump.
I mean, essentially, I'm trying to go like right here.
Yeah. Standing long jump, you can jump half your strength score. What's your strength score?
Not great. It's an 8, so I can jump 4 feet.
You can jump 4 feet, so you're able to jump just to the edge of the water. You can get there, and your feet sort of like splash in the edge of it.
Okay, but essentially that takes up how much of my movement?
5 feet.
Okay, so 5. We'll call this 10. And then can I, with the remainder of my movement, begin to attempt to climb this mast, this other mast?
Yeah, sure. That will require an athletics check. That will be an action.
That's an action. Okay.
To climb a mast, yes. That would be.
Yeah.
To climb a mast, that would be an action. I will let you jump off of the thing and sort of run for movement. But if you're going to start climbing something, it'll take an action, because I don't know that you can climb it.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably fair. All right. So that would be an acrobatics or athletics check if I were to try that.
You could do it either way.
Okay, I'm going to attempt acrobatics, and I'm going to attempt to climb it.
Okay, roll me acrobatics. All right. Yeah.
How far can I go up?
Even though you're sopping wet, you can move up it however much movement you have left.
Okay, so I only moved 10, and I technically have 20 feet. So can I go 5, 10, 15 to make it to like here?
Yep, at least.
Okay. That's my.
I'll just say, since I'm making you burn your since you're making you burn your action for this, I'll give you the movement to get all the way to the top if you want.
Perfect. That's
Since it took
exactly
your action.
what you wanted to do.
All right, you're in the like crow's nest thing.
Yeah, that's exactly where Toot wanted to be. And I don't have a bonus action that I want to burn here, so that's all I'm going to do.
Okay. Harkus.
Okay.
Sorry, this is running late, guys. I know.
I think what I would like to do after kind of surviving the boat near sort of toppling over is kind of move toward this edge where I feel like there's a little more stability sort of under this large block of ice here. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to sort of ready an action with my dart for when it pops its head back up.
Okay. All right. It would be Ordella's turn. We'll come back to her when she's available. Nothing surfaces, but everybody in the boat that's in the boat, Leonard, Granite Guts, and Yatara, you're out of the boat on that mast. Is that what you did, Harkus? You're out of the boat on that mast. Is that what you did?
No, I've moved out onto this block of ice.
Oh, onto the block of ice. You just sort of crawled out onto the ice and ready to dart.
Yeah. Now, if the if I don't know how high the mast is sticking up above that, but
Yeah, it's probably 10 feet or so.
oh yeah, no,
Above
I'm
you.
not going to climb up on that. No.
Okay. The 3 that are in the boat, make me strength checks, please. Yutari gets an 18. Alas, unfortunately, I don't have 2 successes on this. So the boat capsizes. It's upside down. I don't have a way to make this boat be upside down, but we'll just put it sort of over here. And all 3 of you go into the drink as the boat sort of turns upside down over. As it's been rocked from underneath.
Back in the water.
Back in the water, unfortunately, yes. And as that happens, surfacing out of the drink, and I think, unfortunately, the only one that is not sort of surprised by where this would be, since he's in the water now, is Harkus. As said thing comes and takes a bite out of Leonard. Harkus, you can throw your dart.
Yep. Yes.
Holy cow. Harkus zings a dart at it that clocks it clear in the head as soon as its head reaches. Unfortunately, Cadillac, you were ready with a spear, but you've fallen in the water. Okay, so that does 7 damage to it. Leonard, it tries to bite you. Does a 12 hit?
Yes.
12 hits you?
Yes, indeed.
Oh dear, my poor artificer. It does 18 piercing to you.
Oh dear, that's a significant portion of my total.
As it grabs hold on you. You're up, Leonard. You've been bitten, and you're in the water.
All right. Oh. I'm going to summon the drone.
Okay. I love the drone. I'm a drone fan. We're all drone heads here.
And is there a portion within this, like, can I move to here and get up on the ice?
You can swim there, yeah. You absolutely can. You mean without taking opportunity?
No, I'm planning to stay in its 5-foot radius. I would just like to not be in the water.
Okay, try to pull yourself up. Can roll me strength or athletics? Yeah, athletics. Leonard, you struggle and kick your little robot feet as hard as you can, and you almost get yourself up on that ice surface, but you don't manage to get yourself up on the slab of ice. You're sort of kicking in the water desperately. The drone is up. Tell me, how does the drone move? Does it have little feet, or does it like hover, or what is it?
It hovers, and it has, I think, 15 feet of movement a turn, or half as much as I do. One of those.
Okay, so it's like a hover drone. Got it.
It's like a hover drone.
Cool. What's it doing?
It looks like a little hovering dog right now.
Okay.
It looks like a miniature mechanical boy that can hover.
Okay. So it unleashes fire at this thing that's up.
Uh-huh. DC 13 dex save.
Oh, that's a fail.
14 fire damage.
All right. The thing lets out a absolutely horrible... And Granite Guts, you're up. You're in the water.
Okay. I am going to, let's see. Remind me, what is this thing right beside me?
That is Leonard's drone.
Okay.
His hover drone that just blasted it with fire.
Okay. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Good golly.
The boat that you guys were on is slowly starting to sink. All of your fish that you caught have been tumbled out of it.
I am going to try to get on this ice.
Okay, roll me athletics.
It's right beside me. You said athletics?
Mm-hmm. And it's disadvantaged, so roll it again. It's going to see if you did worse than a 6. Yeah, you and Leonard are both, the two of you look like kids in a swimming pool that are holding on to the edge of the pool and learning to kick.
Yeah.
As you're trying to like make yourself ways up.
Utterly ineffectual.
You're up in the crow's nest.
Okay. I think looking at this thing, I will say, I tried to look for lighters on Amazon, and all they gave me was 13,749 matches.
That got a real laugh out of me.
Yeah, and I'm going to attempt to cast Fairy Fire on this to give everyone advantage to attack it.
Oh, okay.
I think I can do it in such a way that it doesn't hit any of my party, but only it.
Okay, sure. It has to roll save.
It's a dexterity saving throw.
12.
Fuck, it means. Okay.
All right.
Edit in post. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Harkus, you're up. NC-17 rating for the kids.
Yeah.
All right.
You're on the ice, Harkus.
Okay. I am going to throw a spear at it.
Okay. That is a hit. Okay. 5 or 6. I assume it was, since it's thrown, it's got to be one-handed.
Yeah.
You can't really
yeah.
two-hand throw it.
Yeah.
All right. Ordella would. All right, bonus action stuff.
Well, what does he look like?
A dinosaur.
I mean, is it bloodied? Is it just looking?
It's
fine?
taken some damage from the fire. It looks sort of. Roll perception as you're looking at it, trying to assess. Or nature, maybe? Yeah, okay. Roll me nature, actually. It looks like a dinosaur.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'm just gonna stay where I am.
Okay. It's very strange behavior for a dinosaur. The dinosaur's head pops out of water and sees the two people that are sort of kicking, trying to pull themselves out. It opens its mouth, and in common it says, "You will all die." And it chomps down on Granite Guts with advantage.
No!
24 to hit.
No! Yes!
It does.
Yes, it hits.
It does 13 piercing to you.
Okay.
Official.
Leonard, you're up.
All right. The drone is going to do its thing first. All right, DC 13 deck save.
Okay. Passes.
All right, passes. So that's going to be 5 damage, fire.
Okay. The creature didn't take any movement last turn, and it just lets out a wail and dives below the surface. As that happens, as it hits it.
So when does it do that? At the end of my turn?
I think,
Or-
yeah, at the end of your turn. I'm not going to nerf your turn.
Okay.
So
then
you're nailing it. You're still trying to pull yourself up onto the ice. It's right behind you, having bit Granite Guts.
I'm going to cast then Tasha's Caustic Brew on it.
Okay, so you're staying in the water, turning around, leaning against the ice, and trying to cast this
This
spell.
spell that's going to stick with it when it swims away. Absolutely.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to make some sort of check to try to do this and not slide under the water. Like, I'm gonna cast this spell while treading water.
Well, I mean,
But
I
think
want it to know not to come back for me.
Oh yeah,
So I'm trying to make a statement.
21 on Plesiosaurus Dexterity. Does it take
nothing.
half damage?
No.
All right. As it does that, since it didn't use his movement last turn, it dives under the water. Granite Guts, you're up. You just got chomped on with a big old chunk of tissue out of your back. And it's under the water again.
Okay. I am going to try now to make it to the boat. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So I should be able to make it just there.
Okay, it's going to be half your movement speed, difficult terrain inside of this heavy coat. Unless you're ditching the waterlogged fur coat.
You know what? I'm ditching the waterlogged fur coat.
Okay, you ditch the fur coat, it begins to sink under the water, and you're able to swim the distance.
Yeah.
So you don't have the fur coat anymore. But you're able to pull yourself out of the water.
It was something. I'm trying to find it. There was some sort of element that affected me in difficult terrain, and I don't remember what it was, so we won't worry about it. All right, so I'm going to ready an attack action again.
Okay.
And I'm going to turn around and face right here, and I'll grab one of my javelins.
By this time, the other rowboat has slipped beneath the surface as it just got wrecked by the thing and has slid down under the water. Not deep, but is definitely under the waters. Your javelin is readied. You've lost your coat. Toot, you're up.
Okay. Nobody's down, so I think I will hold my action, and I'm gonna pull out my brand new fancy crossbow, and I'm gonna hold an action to shoot a crossbow bolt at this thing as soon as it pops out of the water.
Okay, Harkus, you're up.
Yeah, I'm gonna sort of hold tight to where I am, and sort of depending upon, I'm just gonna hold sort of my I'm actually gonna hold my quarterstaff and sort of hope that if it jumps up close to me, I can take a swing at it.
Okay. Ordella would be up. Skip her. What happens next is the beast surfaces from the water and is going to try to bite at Leonard, who's just still in the water, trying to pull himself up. Mm-hmm. And as it does so, it surfaces the water and says, in common, "The Frostmaiden must be served. The people of Bremen are to suffer." And I think Toot unleashes a crossbow bolt, and Harkus throws an arrow, and you do whatever, you throw a dart, Harkus.
No, I was
Granite
gonna sort of jump at him with my quarterstaff.
Okay, and then Granite Guts throws a spear. So all of you can roll those ready to attacks immediately as it surfaces the water and says,
Oh, come on.
"People of Bremen must suffer. The Frostmaiden's will be done." That's a miss, Harkus. That's a miss, Toot. Cadillac. You see Harkus miss terribly with his bow. Toot fires the crossbow and it zings past it. But you see it with your eye and sling that javelin and describe to me how you bring down the beast as its jaws are about to clench on top of Leonard.
Poor Leonard.
The javelin just goes through one eyeball and out the other.
And as that happens, the beast draws quiet. And it would have been a 23 to hit against you, Leonard, if that attack had missed. And it would have done 14 piercing. Would that have knocked you under?
I would have been under and underwater.
You would have been unconscious underwater. That would have been a very bad thing. Unconscious underwater is basically a death sentence. But that doesn't happen because the javelin goes in through one eye and out the other, and the beast falls down with its neck on the ice right next to Leonard as it nearly tries to chomp into him.
And now we're all going to die of hypothermia.
Yeah, Leonard's looking around for a boat.
You find that the boats that you were at were now that you were in are sunk under the water, and all of a sudden it begins to feel very, very cold.
So has the plesiosaurus sort of like flopped kind of out onto the ice shelf?
Yeah, its neck, it's sort of half in the water, like its body is still sort of half in the water, and its neck just kind of out under the ice shelf.
That question distilled was, can I skin it now?
Yeah.
No, that question, yeah, can I skin it? But also, can we sort of
Can we Han Solo this bitch?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Can I Tun this thing? And
Is the question, can we Tun this thing?
yes, that's exactly
That's a good
what this
idea.
I think that will be a question left addressed for next week.
This is precisely what I'm looking for.
As you find yourselves without a boat, nearly freezing. Most of you, in fact, are all of you wet? I think all of you are wet.
I'm not wet.
You're not wet? You didn't
Nope.
get in the water?
Nope.
Harkus is the only one that didn't get
I'm just
wet somehow.
Chilling in my big cap in my.
Even Toot was splashed with water.
Just lucky.
Even Toot was splashed with water and finds that he's up in that crow's nest just freezing as the monster of Mare Dweldon, Mary the lake monster, has been brought down. Strangely, who spoke in common. And congratulations, gents. I know this ran really long, and I'm sorry it ran so long. But we'll see you guys next week.
I didn't expect it to be a talking Nessie.
You know what we didn't do?
I didn't know if you were going to go fight Nessie. I thought we were going to go find a man and his dog.
And since he spoke common, you know what we didn't do? We didn't ask him if he saw a big burly guy and a dog.
Oh, we didn't ask him if he saw a big guy and a dog.
Yeah.
Did you see a big man and a dog go by here, leading a party of other guys with
Jeff,
other
We'll
bring it
dogs?
find
back.
out very shortly whether or not he saw a burly man and a dog.
I don't know where you guys got that he was burly.
I don't know either. I don't know.
You
It's
find the
canon
very
now. So.
you find the very svelte figure of Garrett.
That's why we wanted the dog to go with us, because we have never met the man.
That's right.
This is now a game of telephone.
just start inventing things for him, and he's in a top hat.
I would have given you the dog. You guys all rolled terribly.
Have you
There is
seen
a-
a burly gentleman with an elk in a top hat?
I want to say,
peg leg.
listen. You guys made such a good case with role play that I literally let you roll 2 more times to see if you could roll better than a freaking 10. I set the DC at a 10. It was a
I should
DC
have
10.
guided myself. I should have fucking guided myself. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you should have, but you didn't.
Yeah, I know.
All you had to do was beat a DC 10 on any of those persuasion checks, and I would have given you the dog. But there have to be some consequences to rolls, otherwise it's
No,
not a game.
absolutely.
You didn't get it. He wouldn't let you have the dog unless you'd beaten him up and taken the dog. You probably could have just taken the dog if you just like forced it and be like, "We're taking the dog."
We came by that failure at
Honestly.
great length.
Yeah.
You
That's
tried.
a
To
hard
be
fought
fair,
failure.
I almost feel like it would be unfair for me to guide myself in those situations because I have to say something to guide myself. But in like this, I'm
No,
like,
you're a bard. That's like part of what you do. Like you have the
I
ability
know.
to like be eloquent.
I
so,
know,
like,
but I almost
you-
feel guilty doing it in those circumstances.
No, so like as a bard, you can. It's weird as a Kinku bard, but like you're able to like lace your words with magic to influence people and stuff.
No. Okay.
You're able to pick out the best phrases that anyone has ever said to like piece them together into some sort of thing.
Selfish for you.
All right, guys. Well, I hope everybody had fun, and I don't know what's going to happen to you guys now as you're all freezing cold, without any
And trapped.
without any rowboats in the middle of the lake on a couple of ice sheets, and I have no idea how you're going to get out of this.
I'm convinced that young elvish guy that I struck up a friendship over the biology of this plesiosaurus is destined to come and find us. Absolutely certain of it.
So your plan is to sit there and wait on the nerdy elf.
Wearing a plesiosaurus coat.
I hope that works out for you.
Bold
Good.
strategy, Cotton.
I need everybody to roll a Constitution saving throw with disadvantage, please. You take 1 level of exhaustion. Now everybody roll a disadvantage for your next Constitution saving throw. So another hour has passed. That's 2 levels of exhaustion. Oh boy,
trying to
guys!
figure
When
out
you
how I
reach 5
can
levels
build
of
a fire
exhaustion, you all
inside
drop
of
dead
the
from hypothermia.
Which honestly, if we were really being legit about this, we probably should be dead already from the hypothermia.
No, not yet. But you're all starting to. There is a mechanic here.
Because it doesn't take long.
There's a mechanic for this. You're going to have to. I'll put it this way. Your characters are going to have to do something. You're going to have to get those clothes off, and you're going to have to get a fire going or something to get yourselves warm. And huddling next to Leonard's 98.6 degree heater is probably not going to be enough to do it. You all are going to have to do something to get warm, or there's going to be a bad problem. Good night, everybody. Good luck to the brave adventurers in Icewind Dale. I hope you guys are all enjoying the campaign. I'm sorry this one ran long. I still think this is a really, really super cool campaign.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. I'll see you guys next week.
Good night.